So Lovejoy has he's like hands-on with the Vision Pro.
Yeah, because finally they're, yesterday, right? We got some countries outside of the U.S. that finally got the Vision Pro. So for all those that finally tried it, went to go demo it, welcome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading his, because I haven't read it yet, but it's always a good time. Like,
No, for sure.
he's one of my favorite writers, man. I love reading his stuff.
He's an OG too.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
for sure.
But no, yeah, it'd be cool to see what people think about the Vision Pro outside of the U.S., you know? And I know a lot of people, like when I originally did the demo, I definitely remember having like that wow moment. And people are going to have some wow moments with that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I still have wow moments with it. Like, it's cool, man. It's not worth the price. Like, for a normal person, like, I don't think anyone, like, I don't know. It's a hard sell at that price point. Like, just
it's
being
it's hard to
honest,
recommend
like,
something like that, man.
Yeah, I feel stupid recommending someone spend nearly $4,000 on a piece of, which is essentially like, it's just kind of a tech demo / toy / I mean, it's useful, but yeah, realistically,
is the use. I don't know if it's like super. It's like you said, it's fun. It's a toy. It's an
it's
entertainment
fun.
device.
Yeah, I don't know. It can be useful, I think.
Yeah,
I think it can. Like, even like I was just thinking like if this phone does not stop, please stop. Please stop. Like, how do I stop
Everybody's
this?
blowing your line.
It's just crazy, man. It's like, how do I? There's no like the ringer. I turned the ringer to silent, and it's still dinging me. Why is it doing it? Anyway,
Is it dinging from your iPhone or dinging from your computer?
My phone.
Oh, okay.
And I turned the ringer to silent. And it's like, anyway, I'm sure it happened again because there's another phone over there that I'm looking at right now that I haven't got to. But the point is, like, even for something practical like posture, because I've been working on having better posture, and with a screen like the MacBook Pro, I'm looking down at it right now because it's just the way my desk is. With the Vision Pro, you can technically have perfect posture because you can orient your screen basically to the perfect height, the perfect angle, everything, right? Because it's infinitely adjustable. So little things like that, and the fact that you could be outside, you don't have the privacy aspect of having your screen, so you're not having someone pee over your shoulder. The fact that there's no like glare on the screen. There's a lot of little things that I don't think about. I don't think most people think about with the Vision Pro, just from a practical standpoint, not so much the technical achievement, but just like practical use case. Like, I do like sometimes working from the couch, but that's like a horrible thing to do for your posture because you're like hunched over like that.
And what do? You bring your laptop on your lap and then on the couch, or you just bring like a Bluetooth keyboard?
So the laptop, because
okay.
I feel like you get more support with the laptop. Like, it's easier to actually have it sitting on your lap and type.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
And it's like a familiar transition. It's not like something crazy where it's like you're full
and
the Vision Pro, you know?
Yeah, and you have like a trackpad built in.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other, you have to have two, it was kind of weird. But so, yeah, and then you get occlusion for the MacBook Pro keyboard too, which is nice.
That's cool.
Not just standalone keyboards, but it does the same thing for a MacBook Pro.
One real quick thing before we wrap up with the Vision Pro stuff, but if you're using the Vision Pro with a Bluetooth keyboard and like a Magic Trackpad, does it have kind of a cursor, quote unquote? If you're not using it as a secondary display, if you're just using VisionOS.
Yes.
There's like an iPad OS.
It's like an iPad.
Cursor? Okay.
It's just like an iPad.
Okay. Yeah. See, I never tested that, so that's good to know.
Yeah. Can you scoop closer to your mic? I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to.
Sorry, I was getting comfy. You were mentioning the couch. I started to get comfortable.
I'm just thinking the editing part of my brain is like checking in. It's like
I have a boom arm. I should probably get the boom arm out here and like attach it to the desk. I definitely have
for
one.
sure. What type? Rode?
No.
PSA 1.
Small Rig, the lighting company. They also have a boom arm.
Speaking of which, I mean, I'm so like ADHD, but this, what is that company called that makes the, I think it's Elgato.
Okay.
The Wave Mic LP.
Yeah.
I love this thing, and it's like $100, and it's really high quality. I mean, it's not super high quality, but there's like metal construction. It's mostly plastic, but I'm just impressed by how well it does, and it's low profile, so it's perfect for like this type of thing.
Yeah, and
so
for
just
$100,
shout out to Elgato. Yeah,
you know, that's not bad. So you'd have to spend $250 or $300 on like a premium
Yellow
one.
Technica.
Yeah.
The Mac Virtual Display, I still think the quality is a little bit better. I don't know. It could just be like...
Again, you just be the system. Instead of getting like the Zeiss lenses, you just put your contacts in.
Yeah, basically. That probably is what it is, but it just seems so much clearer and more usable.
I wonder, is Apple... what's the word I'm looking for? Discouraging the use of contacts or no?
No.
Like, right? Okay.
I think it's better actually than the lenses. I feel like the lenses introduce like more potential for reflections or like glare, whereas the contacts are, to me, it's better. It's like one less thing. That's not technically true because contacts are a layer, but it's just one less layer, I guess you could say, between your eyes, because the contacts, I mean, that's a layer technically, but it's very,
like clear.
very
it's like
thin layer.
Yeah, it's like part of your eyeball essentially. And it's not like a hard piece of glass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm liking VisionOS too. I do have a video in the works on that as well. So I'm hoping to have everything wrapped up by next week, like macOS this week. That's basically done. I'm just exported that. So macOS, VisionOS next week. You got watchOS.
watchOS is coming,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, watchOS is coming. And what else are we missing besides tvOS?
Yeah, I was going to ask about your TV. I guess not the tvOS update, but that big tvOS like walkthrough video. That
I know, man.
I want it selfishly.
I am such an idiot. Okay, so I did it. I actually deleted it yesterday. Last night. I did because
the whole project,
I know
or
I'm an idiot.
the final file.
Yeah. The whole project.
Jeez.
Because I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with it.
Oh, so it wasn't by accident.
No.
Okay.
It just
I can see like your OCD kind of taking over and be like, I don't like this. Scratch it. Start from scratch.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that, and it's not healthy. Like
I've done that a couple times, but it's very rare that I completely scratch a video. Yeah.
It's not healthy. Like the perfection, like I have that problem, like where you obviously far from perfect, right?
It's
but
pretty close, guys.
You have like that perfectionist, and that's actually a really negative trait. It's not a good thing, because
I mean, pros and cons to it for sure.
If it's not balanced, it's a very negative thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to really like stop doing that and I can't tell you how many times I've like, just do it, just push through it. Even if there's videos that I've actually hated so much, and I'm like, I don't want to upload this. I upload it, and it's like blows up like crazy. Like it's usually the best ones. Those are the ones that man. I feel the worst about are usually the ones that like are a million views. I'm like, what?
Or the funnier ones are when you upload something and then there's like an issue with it, you have to like take it down and then re-upload it. And then I think I did that a couple months ago, and it ended up being like one of the best or highest viewed videos that I've ever made. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know. You never know what YouTube wants to get it in front of people, or how they're going to do that.
Yeah. And it's just about like, just make stuff, and just like, I try to tell myself that just stop being so like self-conscious. I don't even know if it's that. It's just like, I'm in my head all the time about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just
constant. I mean, no, it's definitely, you're definitely your own worst critic. And I mean, that's the tale as old as time, you know? And I mean, let me tell you, as somebody who watches your stuff is pretty perfect. Even at your quote unquote worst, it turns out pretty good, you know?
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So I think we're going to have most of it handled next week. So I'm looking forward to your watchOS review, because I know it's going to be better than I could do, because I don't use my watch for sure.
No, I know.
Like it's going to be more insightful for sure. I don't use my watch like I should. I should really, because
I mean, I use my watch mostly as a fitness tracker, and I mean, I know there's a lot you can do with your watch at this point, but I use it mostly as a fitness tracker. So I'm loving all the new stuff like the training load and the Vitals app, and it finally acquired enough data since I updated to watchOS 11 to give me that trend data, which is cool. And then outside of that, I use it kind of as a Siri HomeKit assistant, just to turn things off and on with my voice. And then I use it as a flashlight when it's like pitch black at night and I go into the bathroom to make sure, I'm not missing anything or disturbing anybody.
Yeah, well, so it's funny you mention that, because that's my main usage for the Apple Watch.
I think you're the one that told me about the flashlight. And I was like, it's a game changer. It's bright, man.
Yeah, it's super bright.
Especially in a pitch black situation. It's perfect. It's all you need.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. It is extremely bright. It's one of the best features, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to like seeing that overload, or is that what it's called? Overload?
The training load.
Training load. Okay. Yeah.
It's cool. So, I'm still not, because I remember Apple mentioned that they're going to be using a combination of your actual data, so like your heart rate, how it's going, your VO2 max, and to kind of put this variable of what your training load really is. And it's combining it also with what you think you did. So it's like after every workout, it'll ask me, out of 10, how hard was this for you? Right? So I'm curious to know how much of it is me versus how much of it is being like acquired data from the Apple Watch that's kind of making this variable of training load, and what's determining, if I'm 50% over or 20% under. So those are things that I'm kind of like taking into account, because I think it is relying a lot on what I'm telling it, which is not how I want it to be. I want it to be done for me. Like, I don't want to sit there and guess like, oh, did I try it? Was this a 7 out of 10 or was this like a 5 out of 10 today? I want it to tell me how hard I trained, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I wish I wasn't so skeptical about that sort of like that data, because I really, I want to be able to use that, but I can't get over the mental block of like feeling it's not real. But as you explained last week, it's not so much about that. It's about setting a benchmark.
Yeah, the trend. That's all it is. Because it could be wrong, but even a broken clock is right 2 times out of the day.
Yeah, and if it is wrong, it's going to be, you have a control. You have a baseline,
exactly.
Right? So you can go left or right of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the vitals data, it's just a better, I kind of like it a little bit better, because it just gives you like 5 statistics and combines it into one to let you know, like, you're pretty healthy, you're sleeping well, your heart rate's good, or like, hey, you're not taking enough steps in the day, you're being kind of sedentary. So it's kind of, they just combined because HealthKit, if you open up your HealthKit app nowadays, there's a lot of data that it gives you, and you don't really know what to do with it. So there's the Vitals app pretty much just takes 5 things into account and then combines it into one metric. Like, you're good or you're not good. So that's what the Vitals app is that's what it is.
I actually probably really need to be wearing that watch. Age-wise, I'm like, I mean, there's probably some things I need to know about.
For me, I think I'm like on the verge of almost having an unhealthy relationship with the watch. Like, I keep it on at all times. I got the watch tan. Even my wife is like, you shouldn't be having that thing on all day, every day. But I'm like, I know, I got to see if I slept well. Oh no, I got to make sure I took enough steps today. I got to make sure I close my rings. So from that aspect, I guess it's a net positive effect, but sometimes you get in your own head, like I mentioned last week.
So do you close your rings every day?
Not on the weekends. Monday through Friday, yeah. Saturday, Sunday, I pretty much just do nothing for the most part. We'll walk around, we'll do stuff like that.
What's your, like, so I see your tweets. Do they? They don't call them tweets anymore. I see your, what do they call them? Posts?
I'll still call them tweets forever until I die.
I see your post on X, and you're showing your routine. So what is, like, do you get up? How early do you get up to go for your run each morning?
So, all right, we'll get into it. So the last 2 months I've been working out in the mornings because it just clears up my day. So what I'll do is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do a little warm up with just like a 1 mile treadmill run, and then I lift weights. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I go on like a longer run, 3 to 5 miles, and I only run. So that's pretty much what the split is. Just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do some weights. I run a little bit every day to make sure the heart rate is good and the cardiovascular health is good. And that's pretty much it. Keep it simple is what I've learned. Because I used to be crazy about it. Like, I powerlifted back in college. I used to track every little like number and weight and progressive overload and trying to get as much weight as possible. Now it's just, let me just be as healthy as I can. So I'm around as long as I can, you know? That's pretty much what it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, that's good. That's encouraging to hear. Like I fell off the last couple of weeks because I was probably the best I've ever been routine wise as far as like gym. Like it was regular for like 2 months, and then you just,
life happens.
hey, I'll take a break today. I'll do it. Get back to it tomorrow, and then the next week you're like, well, I'll get back to it next week. So
I will say it doesn't get easier. Like when I try to wake up in the mornings, it is a internal battle. I'm screaming at myself inside of my head, like, get up, like you're not going to regret it. Like you're going to regret sleeping in, and then it's going to take time away from the middle of the day. So it's usually a battle every morning, no matter how many times I do it.
It's one worth winning though, because like there's that quote that says like what you do today is basically affecting your future. Like, so it's like, you can be lazy today and it feels good to be lazy, but you're going to regret it in a week from now or a month from now. So it's always good to do that and just win that battle. I too agree. Getting up early is a game changer. Like if you're listening to this podcast and that's not something you do, I recommend trying it because it makes you feel so much better. Yeah. Like, I don't know why, but it just, you feel like you've gained so much more time, which you have, right?
Yeah. And it's like the little win of just like getting up and getting out of bed. It just makes you feel good. And then, brush your teeth, put some water on your face, and then go do something. Whether it's as simple as like tidying up your living room or whatever the case is. Like even I get up sometimes, like even on the weekends now, just like not super early, but I'll still get up before 8:00 and just kind of relax, just enjoy the day. I try not to do too much on the weekends just to kind of recover and hang out with the family, but I definitely recommend getting up early. It's definitely helped out a lot.
I do too. Yeah, I like to get up early, read. I also like to I always. This is so random. Why are we talking about this stuff? Like, but anyway,
it's an Apple Watch tangent.
I don't feel right unless I make my bed. Like, I don't know about you guys who are listening out here, but like to me, I think there was actually a TED Talk on that one time. But it does make, like, it feels like it's a little bitty win. It's a little win for the day, and it just helps you to get started. Like, I don't know, it just propels you. It's like, okay, I did something productive. Small, but it does make you feel better.
Yeah, you can like check that accomplishment off for the day. Yeah, this tangent's funny though.
Anyway, yeah,
help somebody out. If one person's taking that into account and helping out, that's all that matters. But to pivot a little bit away from watchOS, so that's coming hopefully next week because we have all the data now, and I'm really enjoying using it. But I've been having Apple Pencil dilemmas, and I know you have too. When I first picked up the M4 iPad Pro, got the Pencil Pro as well. It was working fine, connected like normal. And also, mind you, I had the same Apple Pencil 2 with 3 different iPad Pros for over 4 years and not a single issue with that Apple Pencil 2. I still have it right here to this day. But I was still running the normal public iPadOS 17.5, and then out of nowhere, it disconnected itself, and then I would put it on top. I would put it on the magnet, the new Pencil Pro, and then it would recognize it because a little Apple Pencil drop-down would show up, but it just would never connect. It kind of like pulsated and kept pulsating and pulsating, and then it just never connected and never worked. So talked to Apple support, and then they told me to, because this could help somebody out that's on the regular 17.5, they told me to go into your settings and reset just your network settings. So it does reset your iPad, but doesn't kill any data or anything like that. You just have to re-sign into your Wi-Fi. And then that was a fix. Made the Apple Pencil Pro work for a couple extra weeks. And now I'm not going to blame iPadOS 18 because it was working normally when I first updated to iPadOS 18. But as of yesterday, the same issue is now persisting, and that network reset isn't working. So long story short, I was with Apple support today, and they're sending me a replacement one because we couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I've never had issues with Apple Pencils, man.
So
it's the first time.
Is Apple Pencil does that appear in your Bluetooth settings?
It does show up on your Bluetooth settings.
Okay, so even deleting it from there and wow, interesting.
Yeah, we did. To go through, so we deleted it from there. We tried to reset it. We reset the network settings. We also did the soft reset where you like volume up, volume down, power hold, and nothing. It would recognize the Apple Pencil, but it would just sit there and pulsate and just never work. And I don't realize, as somebody who isn't an artist and doesn't even take that many notes to begin with at this point, you realize like how often I use my Apple Pencil a lot. Like I go to grab it a lot, especially in Affinity Photo. Like I was editing a thumbnail yesterday with my fingers, and my chunky fingers, it just wasn't the same experience to like erase stuff and go pixel by pixel. It took forever. And I use the Apple Pencil a lot more than I thought I did.
Interesting. Yeah. I still need to get better with Affinity. Okay, so I have a confession.
Hit us with it.
I haven't used my iPad in the last 2 weeks because I cannot foresee myself, like, it already take forever to make stuff anyway. Everyone knows this. It takes forever to do things. I just discussed the perfection issue. Yeah. But imagine trying to do some of these videos on the iPad.
It works.
It works, but I would be still editing that top features iOS video now if that was the case. I mean, it's realistically, I'm not saying anything negative about the iPad, but it's great if you have like a game plan and you have it like mapped out exactly how things are going to go, and it's just a relatively simple, not complex project.
Yeah.
But when you start working with like gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes of source material, man, it gets unwieldy pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it could be difficult. And then there's just so many little keyboard shortcuts that are missing from Final Cut Pro. Hopefully the new Final Cut Pro will be released here in the next 2 hours because it's the end of spring and it's a Thursday, and usually we're recording this on a Thursday. Usually Apple releases Final Cut Pro updates on Thursdays. So
it'd be interesting to see if you get any value out of it. See if you kind of maybe want to go back to the Final Cut Pro 2 for iPad. See if there's enough of an update. Yeah,
I mean, I will go back to it regardless. Like, but it's just for like these betas. Like, it's just too much. Like, it's too much. It's way too much. Like, we're talking. I had 3 hours of footage for the top features iOS, like literally 3 hours of footage to cut. Like my timeline was 3 hours long, and I was just cutting down, and that was only like a 45-minute video.
That's wild.
For the macOS, it's like an hour of footage, and I'm cutting down. So, and that's probably going to be, I think that's 30 minutes. I have to check, but
that'll be a fun one.
So it's just too much for the iPad. But circling back to the Apple Pencil. That's kind of convoluted. But so my problem with the Apple Pencil, and this has happened with my second gen as well, is I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like I drop it and the magnets pick up like flakes of metal, or if the metal is protruding through the Apple Pencil. So there's like on the pencil itself, there's like where the magnet is, you can see like a little bitty dot of metal or some sort of foreign material sticking through the plastic.
On the iPad or the pencil?
Pencil.
On the actual pencil.
On the actual pencil. Like, let me see if I have mine here.
Let me see if I can find my old one.
Here, let me grab mine real quick.
Yeah. Because I have heard...
So this happened with my second gen pencil, one of the second gens. And I was so upset that it happened here with this one. I don't know. Now I can't see it. Let me see if I can get my... you're probably wondering, well, why is that a big deal?
Well, I remember with the original 2018 iPad Pro, people were complaining that after a while, it like left, not like a remnant, it like left something on the border of the iPad from like
that's exactly
overly
where
removing
I'm going with this.
You know?
That's the reason that happens. It's because the Apple Pencil has like a little, I mean, you can't see it unless you take like, I have my flashlight up to it.
Yeah.
And you can see it. It's like a little dot on the pencil on the side where it connects magnetically. It's like a little bitty dot of metal or some sort of foreign object. I don't know what it is, but you can feel it. It's rough. Like you scrape your fingernail over it.
And there's like
so every time you attach it to your iPad, you run the risk of making a little scrape. Mm-hmm. And you keep doing that, and then I actually had 2 little spots on my iPad on each side of the magnetic connector that were worn out. Like you could just see where it took the anodization off. Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for, the anodization.
Yeah, it removed the anodization for the iPad, and I've already noticed on the new iPad Pro, I have a little speck there.
That's
from
crazy.
Where this.
Especially
So I'm going to get this replaced.
Do you have the space black version or not? No, you have the white version.
Yeah, I'm going to get this replaced with. I have Apple Care, so it's like I can just say, "Hey,
True.
I need a new one." True. So anyway, that's my issue with the
this little rant
pencil.
I mean, hopefully they just send a replacement, and I just have kind of like a faulty one, because again, it's happened twice now, and it was just weird. Again, like $130 on the Apple Pencil, you use it a lot, and then boom, within a month, just doesn't work well.
So I wanted just to briefly, before we wrap up, to talk about Sonoma, because obviously the video's coming out. Some of the things in that are interesting. Obviously, to me, one of my favorite aspects is that new wallpaper. Have you seen that?
No. Wait, the one that you sent over today?
Yeah, that's a new wallpaper.
That's a Sonoma wallpaper?
Yeah, it's dynamic. It's the old school Macintosh. Like, it's like...
That's
basically
so cool.
they filmed the old school Macintosh screen, and you get all the old school graphics and everything. The old macOS, the macOS prior to OS 10, right? Like System 6 or whatever.
Like the Steve Jobs macOS from like the movies, Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So you get these. It's a really pixel perfect. Like, I mean, it looks like, I actually think they filmed the screen. Like, I actually think they literally filmed the screen, because you can see like the CRT lines, like the, you know how the refresh rate of the CRT, you can kind of see that on there. So it's like, I'm pretty sure they filmed the actual screen, but it's super high resolution and it's dynamic. So when you have your screen locked, you get to see it, like it moves. It's cool.
That's like, I don't know why I thought this was just like a cool wallpaper you found on the internet. I had no idea these were part of the new update.
Yeah. And they transition between all 6 colors. So it's just really cool. And then when you obviously unlock, it like comes to a halt, and you kind of get a new wallpaper every time, which is really neat. I think it's cool. Great wallpaper. It's not the only new wallpaper. There's that new one for Sequoia as well. Did I say Sonoma?
I think you did. Yeah. I was going to mention it next time, but...
Yeah, I said Sonoma. Sorry, I meant Sequoia, which is terribly hard to spell. Yeah. I don't know. I'm so struggling with that, man.
Have you seen the memes of there's like some British tech YouTubers like trying to pronounce Sequoia, and they like meme themselves because it's just funny for them to try to say it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have my own struggles there, but so that's a cool feature. I also love the new Microsoft inspired. Now I think Microsoft's patent expired finally for their like window snapping. So now you get the window tiling, which allows you to snap windows to the 4 quadrants of the screen. You also snap left to right, top to bottom. You can put it in the middle. It's pretty cool. And there's keyboard shortcuts to go along with that. So that's another interesting feature. Nice. Yeah,
no, I'm excited for that. I guess before you keep going on the features, what's the stability been like, and what are you running it on?
It's been good. I've been impressed. Like, I mean, there's been occasional little bugs here and there, but for the most part, I don't
using it right
totally
now?
Regret it. Yeah, I'm using it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm recording on this MacBook Pro, M1 Max MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I don't know why macOS for me is always the one that I omit from my betas.
Because you're smart. You're not an idiot. Like, that's the reason why.
I appreciate that. I mean, I guess, maybe there's like a subconscious fear. Even though, like, again, I use my iPad more, so you would think I'd be a little bit more scared to put iPadOS 18 on it. So I don't know. But yeah, I put it on everything but my Mac. Maybe I'll do it. Yeah. Just for the wallpapers, honestly.
Yeah, the wallpapers are cool. It's not something I would normally recommend people do, just because it's beta. I've had some rough experiences in the past. But yeah, and there's that new video viewer feature. So that is basically where you can put videos front and center, and when you put content over them, it automatically moves it in a picture-in-picture window. It's kind of cool.
Huh. That is cool.
Yeah, Freeform gets a lot of updates. The Passwords app obviously is a new thing. Also, there is, what is it? There is nested virtualization. So that's a first.
Elaborate for us.
What's that?
Elaborate for us.
Nested virtualization? is basically being able to run a virtual, I mean, at a high level, running a virtual machine within a virtual machine, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So you could not
what's
do
the use
that.
case for that?
Development.
Okay.
There's all sorts of reasons why
Yeah.
ones will want to do that. But the funny thing is, it's only M3 machines. I believe the M2 has like the right instruction set from ARM to be able to technically have hardware accelerated nested virtualization, but for some reason Apple is saying no, M3 only. So yeah, so it's only M3 machines that get this nested virtualization. So I know some people were pretty upset about that. The M2 owners out there are like, why can't we do this? Technically, it should be able to work, but for whatever reason, Apple's saying no, M3 only. So that's another big deal. Another finally, that's something that people have been wanting since the switch over to Apple Silicon. So that's nice to know. There's lots of other little things in there. There's new graphics for Apple Chess, in case you were interested.
That's one of the OG games of all time.
Yeah,
I remember back in like elementary school playing that on my buddy's whatever that MacBook was back then.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, but it's obviously not as full featured as iOS updates, but there's quite a few
That's
things.
That's probably why it runs so smoothly right now, because there aren't that many drastic things that change with macOS Sequoia, especially without the AI and the iPhone mirroring still not being there and things like that. So I might just update it right after this, get the new wallpapers, and get the tiling, because the tiling is pretty cool.
The tiling is cool.
Yeah.
And also, one last little thing, you can finally double click the top of your window. It doesn't just zoom now. You can set that double clicking the top tile of a window or of a Finder window.
You can like click it to full screen it, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Title bar. Yeah, the title bar. Previously you could only set it to, I think, zoom, minimize, or disable. But now you can set it to full screen, but not the full screen. Just
it's still windowed.
Filling the screen.
Yeah, filling the screen. Okay.
So that's cool. That is nice.
Wait, so do you mean, so like right now I have, let's say Chrome open. If I double tap on that, it full screen or fills the screen right now. Is that what you mean?
Well, it depends on what app. So like do that with, open like a Finder window.
Let's see.
And then it just depends. And then try double clicking.
Interesting.
On that Finder window. I can't remember.
They do different things.
The zoom is not full screen. Like when you zoom, I think it just zooms so you can view as much of the content as possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it full screen. Sometimes it'll, just depending on the layout of what's in that window. Never mind. I'm just going to stop talking.
No, I didn't even. Like I said, I didn't know that it acted differently on a per app basis. Like right now, I have my downloads open in the Finder, and it basically like fills the screen from top to bottom. It doesn't go out.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then
so
this one with a smaller list, it'll kind of like tighten it. It'll make it wide enough so you see all the data of every single file, but then long enough so you see every file in one view, if it fits on the screen. Okay.
So that's zoom, but the difference between that and fill is it will make it full screen.
Okay.
Hard stop
for native apps now, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So that makes, so it's nice because you don't have to go into full screen mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually full screen mode where you can't access your desktop.
I've never been a fan of full screen mode on Mac because it makes me feel like I'm leaving my desktop to go somewhere else, and I'm gonna forget a window that I had on the last instance or whatever it was, you know. So I'm not a big fan of just like full screen mode when I'm using apps on Mac OS.
I use it, but there's things I wish that it did differently because it does feel like super siloed.
Yeah.
It makes it feel
it's like you're going to stay on this window and that's it.
Yeah.
True. So, what did we get out this week? We had the top features that you posted. Sick video. Go check that out if you guys haven't. A lot of little tidbits. And there's another one coming you were mentioning.
Yeah. So I think that top feature, I think there's probably, if not 100, close to 100 in that video, like actual features, but I don't say that, but in this Mac OS, there's probably like 50. So yeah, check it out. What would you have this week?
So I did a stage manager walkthrough on iPadOS.
All the
18.
new features.
Every single new feature, which we found out wasn't many, if at all. So it ended up turning into a walkthrough. People still enjoyed it because people, I guess, weren't aware of the different types of multitasking there was between split view and stage manager and extended monitor support and the differentiation between iPads and all that stuff. So it was kind of a nice walkthrough, like a one-on-one stage manager.
Love it.
Comments were pretty nice. But again, Apple just didn't do anything with Stage Manager this year. They gave some great quality of life enhancements going from iPadOS 16 to 17, but this year I've tried to find whatever I could and couldn't find anything new.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, so don't upgrade
to
iPadOS 18 if you're just looking for Stage Manager improvements, because it's exactly the same as 17.
All right. Hey, if you guys have not signed up for our YouTube memberships, be sure to do so. We actually just uploaded the newest wallpaper from our, and unfortunately I don't have it on my phone right now, but it's pretty cool. So we have a newest wallpaper, and the way it works is that, here's the way I think it's going to work. So even if you say you want to cancel, you don't want to subscribe month to month, you're going to be able to get all the back wallpapers too. So if you if you subscribe in February or in September, you get all the wallpapers from that point all the way back. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it could be a nice, like, if you sign up like next year, you should have a ton of wallpapers to choose from. But don't hold off. Don't hold off. Just sign up now.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot. I wanted to bring up, because I did get this this Clicks accessory. Have you seen this thing?
Oh yes, I have.
I wanted to see would you use something like this? I wanted to use it with my iPhone in it, but I use my iPhone for this video or for this recording, and it's like, it definitely brought me back. I wanted to bring it up a little bit because it brought me back to BlackBerry days. And I'm getting used to it more and more every day. I was definitely, the first day I got it, I was very slow with it. It was like I was relearning how to type on a little keyboard again. I kind of wish I had a iPhone 15 Pro, like the normal size one, because this is a big package once you put it all together, you know?
I was thinking
an interesting product for sure. Never would have thought that in 2024 we'd be putting physical keyboards on iPhones, but I see the use case because it does open up the entire screen on your iPhone, and it's
exactly.
That's the big selling point, I think, especially if you're big on Instagram and Snapchat stories and basically into social media, and you just want to have an ongoing, open screen. I see the benefit of it for sure. So I'm definitely gonna have a nice little review for this guy to let you guys know the pros and cons and if it's worth it or not, because I'm leaning towards yes, but for a specific person.
Yeah, I want to try that too. I've been meaning to try that because I had numerous Blackberries. I think the last one was the BlackBerry Pearl. But I
think that was my last one. Yeah, the one that it wasn't a full QWERTY keyboard. It was like a double, and it wasn't T9 either, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
I can't remember. That was my last personal one. Like, I had the big ones too.
Yeah.
Before work, but yeah. Yeah, I had the Pearl was the double letters. I think.
It was a double letters, and it had this back then AI baby, autofill and autocomplete, and it worked so. I remember being a wizard at typing back then on that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different era, but it was cool because like you could really, I don't know, I feel like I could type way faster on my BlackBerry than I can even with my iPhone now. But that's I don't know, maybe I'm just misremembering.
I guess final question when it comes to the keyboards. For the virtual keyboard, do you use swipe at all?
I do not.
You do not swipe to text?
Nope.
I'm kind of 50-50 with it, depending on like the words. So I'll like type and then
I never do it.
I naturally I use for words like thought or like them or I don't know, like very common words. My hands just like start to swipe the word and it gets it right most of the time. So it gets added in there. Leave a comment down below if you guys use the swipe gestures or just like the swipe keyboard. I mean, because I remember Gboard, you would have to download it and have to, or was it SwiftKey? There was a bunch of different third-party apps that you could load those keyboards into iOS. But I do like that it's native now, and I do use it 50% of the time, I would say. And it does make you type very fast.
Yeah, I might try it. You kind of make me wish probably missing out. So
for sure, excited to get some more content out. We got some good stuff on the pipeline and. Stay subscribed because we got more coming.
Yes. Yeah. Subscribe to the podcast too. We'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon.
Peace, everybody.